Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art process series here on YouTube. And today we'll be doing a voiceover of this time lapse. It's from a session I did last night. I was trying to explore some character art because it's something that I'm kind of interested. Not kind of. I am interested in it, but I don't really have that much experience doing character art. I mean, I used to do some figure drawing studies back in school, but that's pretty much it. And the portrait studies, copying like one-to-one, those types of art, where it's more of a copy session. I mean, it's great for practicing your skills, your rendering skills, your observational skills, but I kind of want to learn how to get the vibe of a character, of a human being. And I thought, you know what, let's start with something that I find interesting. And there's this anime called NieR Automata. I know it's based on a game, NieR Automata. And I think season 2 is out now. And I thought, you know what? I do find the characters interesting, and they're like, I actually feel I do enjoy just watching them and looking at their designs. And so I thought, you know what? I'll study some screenshots from frames rather, from the anime. And so I believe these specific shots are from the episode 1 of season 2 of NieR Automata. And I just kind of skimmed through the video or the episode and found like very interesting enough poses for me to do. And yeah, I think this is a great kind of experiment for me to just jump in to kind of get used to drawing, or I'm kind of not. I'm kind of drawing and painting at the same time because I am focusing on some contour lines, but it's mostly about the massing. Like, I want to know how big something is, like in general. So I think using the lasso fill tool, in my case, it's in Clip Studio Paint. I think it's a great tool to use to sort of draw and paint at the same time. Like, you can be a bit gestural, but not via lines, not via contour, but via shape. Like, you'll see me start these sketches with a bunch of blobs, and it's common to see that when you're using the lasso fill or the lasso tool. So I think this is a great opportunity for me to kind of find that out, that it's a good tool to kind of just learn how to kind of get the mass of something. And in this case, even if they're in black and white, you can kind of tell if you've seen the anime or the game. There are certain design elements that make that character look the way they look, so they're kind of distinguishable that way. The silhouette of the dress, of the hair, the eyes, and I think doing a bunch of these studies can really help you find what those things are. And doing them in black and white, I think, is a great way to do that, because right now I really want to learn about the massing, right? So why do I need to learn about or why do I need to use color right now? I think that's for a different session, for a different kind of practice study session. Right now I just want to get the gist of things, like the general shapes, right? So I think limiting it to just one color, in my case it's black, I think is it's essential. And for the lasso fill tool, I did add a bit of opacity. You can't see it here, but there is some slight opacity. It just makes it look more like when you're actually on your tablet or on your pen display. Like, you can see that slight variety. It just makes the process or the experience a bit more natural looking. It's kind of like drawing with a pocket pen brush, where it's not always a consistent black. Some strokes will be a bit more transparent than the others. So that's kind of what I did there to make it a bit better. And so you can see me now. This is two characters, 2B the girl, and there's 9S in the back. So they do have, like, they're fighting together, I think. It looks like it. And you saw me, I started that scene with just a bunch of blobs, and it's really just a play right now between the whites and the blacks, like which part should be white and which part should be black. And what's cool here is, yeah, sometimes the black is shadow, or it refers to shadow, but it's not always about shadow. It's not always the shadow. You have to find, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's more of a general like massing, like there's no shadow technically in there at all, but you just sort of wing it and make it look consistent. For example, in the anime frame, in the reference, The dress was a bit boring because it was too consistent. Like all of the flowery kind of folds of the dress of the skirt, it was just too consistent. So I just pushed it a bit to kind of make it like it's spiraling around her, and I think I did a good job of that. I did struggle with both of their faces here. Number one with 2B with the chick, and the one in front, and 9S in the back. And don't be afraid to use the lasso tool in this case, or any kind of selection tool. For me, I eventually used the lasso tool to kind of extend the head a bit up because it felt a bit too shrinked. And I was trying to repaint it or redraw it, but it was just taking too long. And I was actually kind of pissed. Like while doing this actual thing, I remember I had emotions doing this thing. Well, I did go back to these two earlier sketches. I felt like the chin was a bit too like broad. So I decided to feminize them a bit more because both of these characters are very feminine, 2B and 9S. And yeah, I think I spent a little too much time on this, the second guy too, like 9S, especially with the face, with the mouth part. Like I just couldn't get it right, and I wasn't satisfied with how it looked. And I need to find a way to simplify that whole process. You know, how can I define a face, a profile of a face with just a few strokes? Oh, and just a side note, I do recommend you use a pen display tablet because it's going to be difficult using a standard pen tablet without the screen. I did try it in my second sketch, or in my last sketch. It's the one following this one. In the earlier part of it, I did try using my pen tablet, but I eventually quit because you can tell it was very kind of messy and ugly. It just doesn't have the accuracy that you need to use the lasso fill, the lasso fill tool. And within like a minute or two, I eventually switched back to my screen or pen display tablet. Right now, you can see me kind of blocking a few parts with my pen tablet without the screen, and it was so hard to move around with it. So yeah, I do think you'll feel a lot better when you use the screen display when doing these sorts of like really detailed work. I think somewhere around here, I did switch to my pen or my pen display, and you can tell because I was way faster. The silhouette immediately showed up, the sword became clear, the face became clear. So again, it's a pull between, for example, if you look at that black part, her dress, it's not in shadow. Not all of it is in shadow, but you have to find a way to make use of, or just decide. You have to make decisions. Decisions. Should this part be black? Should this part be white? And try to avoid the grayscale part for now, because it kind of helps you become creative a bit, right? And you can always push things around. Like you don't have to copy the reference one is to one. And as you can see there, I did the whole lassoing something and then trying to distort it or just move it around a bit to make it more fit or more visually appealing. So don't be afraid. Don't just draw or paint. Don't be comfortable with using the tools of the digital software that you have with you, right? So don't be afraid to like liquefy and stuff like that. Although I still recommend trying to keep it simple with like black and white or a 2-value system. Yeah, so all in all, this whole process took about like 3 hours. I wasn't working like straight all the way. Sometimes I would take a break in between. Sometimes within the recorded session, sometimes out of it, I would just pause the record button. And I believe I also took a few naps here and there. It wasn't a full nap. I just felt really tired. And just a quick advice here: learn what your max is at the moment. For example, given this session, 3 hours to me felt kind of long. And even though I feel bad about that, because I know artists who can like paint and draw for like 6 hours, 10 hours even. And I'm like, fuck. I mean, there are people who stream their artwork that they don't even talk in their videos, but they can like just do art for really long sessions. And I just don't have that endurance. So this was a great opportunity for me to find that out. And for me, I think I'll try next time to just stick to like maybe 1 hour or 2 hours around that range, and kind of let my max be like 3 hours if I have to. And I think it's better that way, because if I do things this way, at least I'll be a bit more consistent. I don't think it's a good idea to constantly like push yourself to the limit all the time. I think you want to inch your way or work your way up, and just stick or start or move from where you are at the moment. And for me, if this is the best I can do, or if this is what I naturally feel comfortable at, then I'll stick here, or I'll stay here, right? And I just think that's way better, instead of like stressing about it, because I feel like if you do this, if you try to force yourself in terms of say time, like I should spend like 5 hours on making art, like all you're doing is you're making yourself hate the actual art process. So I think we want to focus more on the positive sides of art a bit more, because if we are going to expand our skills, it is going to be a bit difficult and we're going to feel a bit stressed. So I don't think adding more stress to that by forcing ourselves to work in a specified amount of time that's kind of out of our comfort zone, then I don't think that's healthy. I think we should focus more on painting or creating art in a more comfortable environment, so we can have more energy to work on those difficult things that we want to work on, right? So for me, if I want to mainly focus on or try to explore or develop my character art, then that's where I should focus, instead of trying to force again myself to work like 5-10 hours of yeah. Hopefully you got the point. So yeah, that's it for this episode of this art process video, time-lapse video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next. Oh, by the way, if you want the full version, obviously you can check the link below. It is under a membership, so if you're not into that, then don't. I will try to do like the membership first, the full session obviously first, record it, and then I will do the time-lapse version. I think that's a great way for me to kind of reflect on what I just did and kind of see things from the bigger picture. And obviously I can share the lessons, the lessons that I've learned, the main ones anyway I've learned in that whole art session. So that's it for this video. I hope it helps you in some way, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.